Weight of Memory, Episode 22. Since Sri Lanka's historic World Cup victory in 1996, every schoolboy has dreamt of becoming a cricketing star. Yet many of today's youth remain unaware of a darker chapter in the nation's sporting history. A celebrated cricket legend who once stood trial for the murder of his wife. This episode revisits one of the most sensational scandals of the 1950s, the Sathasivam murder trial, the cricket scandal. The Sathasivam murder trial, 1951 to 1953. I still remember how my elder brothers closely followed the sensational story they referred to as the Sathasivam murder trial. Being avid cricket fans, they never missed a single update in the Times of Ceylon, devouring every headline and dissecting each detail in animated discussions that lasted for hours. That memory stayed with me for years, quietly stirring curiosity until I grew older and set out to understand the case for myself. The trial of Mahadevan Sathasivam. He was the darling of Ceylonese cricket. Mahadevan Sathasivam, a flamboyant batsman hailed by legends like Gary Sobers and Frank Worrell as one of the finest stroke makers they'd ever seen. But on October 9, 1951, the man who once danced down the pitch to dispatch bowlers into oblivion was now facing a far more sinister opponent, a murder charge. His wife, Parapurnam Anandam Rajendra, granddaughter of Sir Ponnambalam Ramanathan, was found strangled in the kitchen of their home at number 7 St. Albans Place, Bambalapitiya. A mortar had been placed on her neck. The cricketing icon was arrested the next day. The nation gasped. Was this a crime of passion, a scandal of betrayal, or a setup to destroy a sporting hero? Anandam, mother of 4 daughters, had filed for divorce weeks earlier, citing infidelity and emotional cruelty. Sathasivam had been romantically linked to Yvonne Stevenson, a foreign national whose presence loomed over the marriage like a storm cloud. Letters that Anandam wrote to Satha while he was in England revealed her anguish. Enter Hiwa Marambaj William, an 18-year-old cook hired just 11 days before the murder. His testimony became the fulcrum of the trial. William claimed he assisted in the murder, holding Anandam's legs while Sathasivam strangled her, but inconsistencies riddled his account. He had injuries on his face, confessed to stealing jewelry, and was arrested in Tangali. He was granted a conditional pardon and turned crown witness, but his credibility quickly unraveled. Sir Richard Aluvahare, then Inspector General of Police, personally took over the investigation despite lacking criminal expertise. Senior officers like Albert D. Silva, known as Honest Albert, testified that they were prevented from pursuing the truth. Evidence was allegedly manipulated to frame Sathasivam, while William's confession was reshaped to fit the prosecution's narrative. The trial of the century, held at the Assizes Court of the Western Province, presided over by Justice E.F.N. Gratian. The trial lasted 57 days. Defense team, led by Dr. Colvin R. De Silva, a brilliant Trotskyite lawyer and parliamentarian. Star witness Sir Sidney Smith, world-renowned forensic pathologist flown in from the UK. Smith challenged the prosecution's timeline and cause of death. His analysis of rigor mortis, body temperature, and digestive contents contradicted Williams' version of events. Smith's reconstruction suggested sexual motivation and theft as Williams' motive. He theorized that Anandam bent down to inspect Williams' work in the kitchen, triggering a violent assault. The 7 sovereign necklace was missing. The mortar was placed post-mortem to simulate a struggle. Verdict, not guilty. On March 24, 1953, the jury returned a unanimous verdict of not guilty. William was convicted of perjury, but due to his pardon, he walked free. Justice Gratian criticized the police for their conduct, and the trial became a textbook example of forensic justice triumphing over prejudice. Sathasivam spent 625 days in remand prison. He later married Yvonne and moved to Singapore and Malaysia, captain in both national cricket teams. Final over. Was it a cricket scandal? Not in the sporting sense, but it was a scandal that rocked the cricketing world, casting a shadow over one of its brightest stars. In the end, truth prevailed, but not without bruises. The trial was a gripping drama of betrayal, forensic brilliance, and the resilience of a man who refused to be bowled out by fate.